Coming up, remembering a legendary high school basketball coach.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A huge loss today in the world of Kentucky high school basketball. The state's winningest basketball coach and Eastern Kentucky native, Billy Hicks, died at the age of 71. Reaction has poured in from former players and coaches throughout the day and across the state. Tonight, Jeremy Toms caught up with some of those people to talk about the impact Hicks made both on and off the court.
From the mountains of Eastern Kentucky to the rolling hills of the bluegrass.
When you think Kentucky high school basketball, you think of Billy Hicks.
Coach Billy Hicks made gymnasiums his home away from home.
We had some battles. Over the year.
And he'd make it a full house throughout those winter months.
I'll never forget in, I guess it was 1999, when we were 2 in the state, they were 1 in the state, and they had to shut the doors of Scott County High School before the JV game started.
Hicks made his biggest mark at Scott County, spanning a quarter century and earning 2 state titles.
He had a decent building block when he got here, but man, he turned it into a full foundation by the time he left.
His presence never left that hardwood.
The man's got pictures all around here, championships, banners.
But what his peers, like Coach Alan Feldhouse, say they'll miss the most are the life lessons Hicks imparted.
His players loved him. I mean, he was hard on them. He demanded a lot of them, but I know a lot of those guys. He did it the right way.
And the friendships he had a knack for making along the way.
I thought him more like a father figure for me, Coach Hicks. And he didn't want to know about basketball. He just wanted to know about your life. I have the utmost respect for him, and I know he's in a place now where he can do a lot of fishing.
Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
Hicks finished with 1,013 wins. The Billy Hicks Classic will go on as scheduled tomorrow. Coach Feldhouse hopes all the kids involved give it everything they've got because he knows that's just how Hicks would want it. Many here in Eastern Kentucky are also remembering the Harlan County native. Coach Hicks began his coaching career in 1978 in Everett. 3 seasons later, he went on to coach at Harlan High School and then Corbin. Former Harlan High School head coach John Ball says they both started at the school in the same year. He says Hicks was tough on his players, but also showed love and care.
He worked them hard as far as a coach goes, but they knew that he cared about them, and sometimes he would have them all over to his house for, a chili dinner and things like that. So, I think that it'd be hard to find, at least from here, a player that had something negative to say.
Ball says even though Hicks was only at Harlan for 3 years, he still had an impact on the community. Funeral arrangements have not yet been announced. We want to go to a developing story we're following now out of Virginia. Police in a Virginia suburb of the nation's capital are investigating a massive explosion. It happened at a home where officers were trying to serve a search warrant. The Arlington County Police Department says a suspect fired several shots inside the home and that an explosion happened. The video, as you see here, shows just how large that fire was. It's not clear yet if anyone was injured.
Well, after showers to kick off this Monday, we are tracking some drying conditions as we go into tonight. Also some chilly weather as well. Let's take a live look at First Alert Pinpoint Doppler. A clean sweep as high pressure begins to take over as we go into tonight. But this is short-lived. As you can see, an interesting weather pattern. That first area of low pressure over North Carolina that brought the showers earlier today. Now high pressure takes over, so we stay dry tonight. Also for the first half of your Tuesday. But notice a secondary area of low pressure. We call this an Alberta Clipper. This is a quick moving system that will bring another round of showers to the mountains on Tuesday night, also into Wednesday, and maybe a few areas of wintry mix as well. Temperatures this evening in the upper 30s and lower 40s, down to 39 for Jackson, 34 in Somerset, and 40 over in London at this hour. And we are chilly as you wake up on Tuesday, back in the middle to possibly lower 30s in those cooler pockets. So once again, don't forget to grab the jacket as you wake up and walk out the door. We are chilly on Tuesday, Wednesday, but some 60s on the way by this weekend. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. Knott County Central High School is once again hosting the WYMT Food City Mountain Basketball Classic Tournament, but this is the first one on a new court. The school's basketball teams have been playing in this same gym for several decades, but not the same floor. Their old court was heavily damaged by the July 2022 flood. A new floor was unveiled about this time last year. Principal Bobby Pollard says they've worked hard to get things ready.
One of the things that we prioritized was making sure that we had our facility back so that we could have our student athletes and our community come together in this facility.
Knott Central still has the logo from their old court hanging on the wall behind many banners from past success. Administrators say they take pride in the facility. Well, that new court also has a new name. In between the first two games of tonight's WYMT Food City Mountain Classic, family and friends were on hand for the unveiling of former coach B.B. King's name on the B.B. King Court. King died last December 20th at the age of 61. He actually coached his final game with Breathitt County at the Mountain Classic just weeks before his death. We'll have highlights from tonight's action later in sports. During the COP28 summit in Dubai, U.S. Special Envoy for Climate John Kerry made the announcement that the United States commits to building no new coal-fired power plants and phasing out existing plants, joining the Powering Past Coal Alliance. We reached out to the Kentucky Coal Association president about that. He released a statement to WYMT saying, in part, quote, proposals to end coal usage in the United States are both dangerous and ignorant. Coal remains the most consistent, reliable energy source, and politicians who wish to do away with it will hurt our most vulnerable with unaffordable energy rates. In every instance a coal plant has been closed, we have seen record-breaking increases in costs for consumers. The folks peddling these ideas simply do not care about the average person, the average homeowner, or any in America who pays an electric bill, end quote. Now, we have statements from several lawmakers about this on our website, including Governor Andy Beshear and Senator Mitch McConnell. One person was injured following a Christmas parade in Somerset. It happened on Saturday. Bruce Owens was working to remove street debris after the parade when he was hit by a car. Police say the driver was headed east on Mount Vernon and claims he did not see Owens in the street. Somerset Mayor Alan Hicks says that Owens is a hard worker and is known around the community.
Gosh, the joy that he carries. I mean, his attitude's just unbelievable. And honestly, his motor. I mean, if you think, we're a sports guy, a motor that never stops, that's Bruce.
Keck says they are hoping to work on several ways for people to help Owens and his family during his recovery process. Drivers using Kentucky 1384 at Hurricane Creek in Pike County will need to detour around a railroad crossing starting tomorrow. Officials at the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet say the road will be closed the next 2 mornings so repairs can be made at the CSX railroad crossing. This is 0.2 of a mile east of US 23. Transportation officials say the closing should take no longer than a day or two. A new brewery, entertainment, and restaurant venue is coming to Richmond in Madison County. The Quarter will be located on Water Street. The Richmond Register reports Apollo Pizza, Blue Stallion Brewing, and some other partners are hoping to reinvigorate Richmond's downtown entertainment scene. The complex will include restaurants and Blue Stallion's first tap room outside of Lexington.
We're trying to get Richmond as an entertainment site back like it was in the old days. But in the old days it was kind of known for some wild nights, that sort of thing. We're looking to do a little more family-oriented kind of entertainment district.
Leaders hope to have the Quarter up and running before the start of March Madness. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, just days after the collapse of a week-long ceasefire, Israel is expanding its offensive into southern Gaza.
Plus, the forecast turns a little wintry by this time tomorrow. Your first alert forecast after this break.